So my name's Hope Jackson Doney. I'm a compliance specialist here at CHAZ. I've been with the organization for just over 3 years now. Prior to this, I started in our patient experience department here in Iron Bridge before I moved to Rock Point, and then promoted to a quality improvement coach. And then from there, I've promoted into compliance as a compliance specialist. I identify as a member of the Little Shell tribe of Chippewa Indians of Montana. A little fun fact about us is that we were the last tribe to be federally recognized back in 2019, and there are actually only 574 tribes in the entire United States who have been federally recognized. So when it comes to my Native American identity, a lot of people actually aren't familiar with the fact that I'm Native, just because I am mixed with a lot of different ethnicities. I grew up in a Native household, which is separate from the other identities that I have. I feel like when it comes to my identity, when I bring forth that information to people, they're kind of shocked at the fact that I'm Native, just because I don't have that outward appearance of what a stereotypical Native would look like. So when it comes to, topics of conversation like Indigenous Peoples Day, which we just had, or, Thanksgiving, we don't really celebrate Thanksgiving. That's not really something, at least in my family and in my tribe, that we celebrate, just because of all of the atrocities that happened to Native people and the genocide of them. I think that was very shocking for a lot of fellow staff members to realize that, even though we're all under the umbrella of maybe an American, a Native American might not celebrate like the same traditions as everybody else. So something I think that is important for staff to know when engaging in conversations with Native American people, either through employees or patients, is that we no longer look like the stereotypical view of what a Native looks like. A lot of people have this mentality that we still live in teepees, wear regalia every single day. We live on reservations, or that a lot of us are alcoholics or anything of that nature. That's actually not true, and it's quite offensive. While some people still do live on reservations, reservations are not actually a positive thing. Typically, they were to displace natives from their homelands. And a lot of us actually live in urban areas like cities, just like Spokane. There's a huge Native population here in Spokane, and a lot of them don't actually seek services through CHAZ. A lot of them will go to other organizations like the Native Project. A lot of people aren't aware that that has to do with a distrust for the government. So CHAZ is not viewed as being run by a Native group that a lot of people trust, whereas the Native Project is geared towards helping Native American people. So they're more likely to go to those types of organizations as opposed to CHAZ, just again because of that distrust. I think it's also important that people realize Native American people have a lot of generational trauma, which can result in the way that they live their lives, the livelihood, their lack of identity. A lot of it has to do with forced assimilation, loss of sacred land, and many other things. So I think the one thing that's important to know when it comes to working with employees who are Native American, at least personally for me, I take great offense when people will go and touch my hair. Our hair is very sacred to us. It's something that we keep around forever. In my family, we don't cut it unless somebody passes, and then the hair goes with the person who passes. So try not to do that. Also going around and asking people if they're a real Indian, that can be, very offensive. We prefer the term Indigenous or Native American. The other thing I would say is, in an attempt to relate to people, it's not appropriate to say, oh, my grandma is a Cherokee princess, or I'm 256 Native. We understand that you're trying to relate, it's not appropriate. It goes into a whole conversation about blood quantums and all of that, which is a whole other story. It's a lot longer. It's not appropriate. And then I think the other thing is, don't try to tokenize people and their traditions. We take great pride in our traditions. I'm somebody who, my family actually lost a lot of their Native traditions because they were forced to assimilate. My grandpa was a church boy who used to speak our native language, Ojibwa, and he's actually the last person who spoke the language in our family. When he was forced into being a church boy, he started to learn Latin and English. So nobody else in our family has the history of being able to speak our language. So it's something that we've kind of just lost along the way, just because there's not very many people who still speak it. So when it comes to the media and how they portray Native Americans, it's not actually factually true. I feel like the media portrays the nuances of, Native American history and culture. The example that can come to mind is Twilight with Jacob and how they portray him as, this sexy figure with his shirt off and transforms into a wolf. That doesn't actually happen, and I hope people don't think that we actually do that. The other thing would have to be how they portray women in these movies. A lot of Native American women are portrayed as very docile and submissive, and that's not actually a great representation. I think I myself am a prime example of that. I was raised to be, the exact opposite. Stand up for yourself, stand up for people around you, be a go-getter, go to school. I'm the first person in my family who graduated from college, and one of the few people in our tribe of 4,000 who have actually graduated. So it's a great honor to have, but it's something that people have to grow into. You have to understand the atrocities that happened to Native people set them back very far. And so as generations progress, we're trying to, circumvent what happened.